Welcome to at least my last day of this training on faculty member as a leader manager, essential leadership and management skills. My name is Faisal. I'm president of Faisal University in Bahrain. It's a private university, and I hope today is going to be useful for you. It's going to be highly interactive. I am not here, please, to lecture to you. You can lecture to me. I would learn from you as much as you learn from me. So I have no purpose whatsoever if I use some examples to illustrate some issues. If I mention something about research skills and how you develop research skills, it doesn't mean that you are not capable of doing research at all. It means that I'm just giving you some hints based on my experience on how you can enhance your chances maybe to get publications. And we have different levels of colleagues here. There are some full professors who are very well established. There are some people who are with master's degree and doing a PhD maybe, and they may not have had the same experience. So I can't just plan my lecture to fit one particular group of individuals. I want to cover everything to help everyone in the room. So if you feel I'm just going into details in some areas where you know a lot about it, please ask me to stop. I will move on to another slide, please. Okay? Learning outcomes. I hope that by the end of the day, you'll be able to achieve at least all what's listed on that slide. You will learn more about your leadership styles, whether it's hands-on, hands-off leadership style, whether it's autocratic or democratic. We're going to cover all these issues later on. And then we'll cover leadership theories and management theories, of course. And then you will learn more about what makes a great leader. What are the characteristics of a great leader? And we can do it in an interactive way once again. You can make your own contributions. And then there will be practical example about leadership and management, challenges and opportunities. And I will please have an example about how to become a research leader. It's just to illustrate some of the theories we're talking about. That's all. And then we can look at, hopefully, the challenges and opportunities. You will learn more about them. Hopefully you will develop more confidence in terms of running or leading your activities. And we'll conclude with the networking issues. It's a matter of networking with each other. I don't know whether you all know each other, if possible. It's massive university. So at least if you get to know the people on your right and on your left, would have achieved something good today. So who knows, you may be able to do some good research together if you are an interdisciplinary type of people. Same with our sisters on this side. That's all what I want to cover in the learning outcomes. I want to start by asking you about the type of leadership roles you can identify in the university. Who plays a leadership role in a university? Starting from the president all the way down. Who are the leaders?
So if you see from the top, so there is like president, and there is kind of some rules, and then if you want to have like portfolio manager, then below you have the different programs. You have the program manager, and then below that you have the
Absolutely. So you can see it goes all the way from the very top, from the president, vice president, deans, vice deans, head of schools, head of departments, research institute directors, research group leaders, project managers in some areas, program leaders and course leaders. They are leaders. They are leading their own courses and their own programs. They have to have management and leadership skills. The person who is delivering a lecture in the classroom, the faculty member, who is not in a managerial type of position, is a leader in their own way. You are leading your own lecture. You have to time plan it, you have to manage it, you have to make sure the students are happy, getting the learning outcomes. So you have to have some leadership skills. Even in running a lecture. You are responsible for your lecture. You are leading it. You are seen by the students as the leader who's leading the teaching activity or the research activity in the university. So leadership happens at all sorts of levels, from the very top to the caretakers of the university. Everyone should play a role in terms of leadership and management of the institution. Okay? So now we are going to cover an introduction to the theories of leadership and management. We'll cover some context first. We'll look at the context of leadership, then we look at leadership styles, and then later on differentiation between leadership and management. Big difference between leadership and management. You may have leaders who are not managers. You may have leaders who are managers at the same time. They are leaders and managers. You may have managers who are not leaders, and you may have people who don't like to lead or manage. They do their work perfectly okay, but they don't want to lead or manage. Even though we said, if you are delivering a lecture, you're still seen as a leader, at least by the students. And then we'll cover how to become a leader, and we'll look at the challenges and opportunities together. Just some background about myself. I completed my PhD in 1991 at Western University in the UK. I was heavily involved in all sorts of research activities. I was Pro-Vice Chancellor for Research at Salford University in the UK. I published widely, generated a lot of money, and I have been president of the University of London in Dubai. It's an Australian university. I was vice president for academic affairs at Gulf University for Science and Technology in Kuwait, and I've been president of Applied Science University in Bahrain for the last 4 years. So I have a lot of experience. I've done a lot of research on leadership and management, especially in higher education, and I would like to share some of the findings today with you and hopefully learn from yourself. I'm going to get some good points from yourselves and maybe improve the presentation I have. Please, how many colleagues have got PhDs in the room? The majority, I'm assuming. The majority, yeah? And who's studying for a PhD? Anybody? Anybody doing a PhD at the moment? No? So everyone has got a PhD? Okay. I just tried to at least draft sense of achievement for my academic career. And I felt personally that my biggest sense of achievement when I achieved my PhD. It's higher than becoming a president or dean or becoming a full professor. When you get your PhD, it's a moment you will never forget about. When did you finish it, the time? I remember completing mine on the 19th of June 1991. I defended it by 10 past 2 in the afternoon. I still remember the minute and the second. Because when you are doing a PhD, you are taking the lead on a piece of research for 4 years. You are almost on your own, and you have invested heavily in time for 4 years, and you are worried just in case if you don't pass. Most people pass their PhDs, but still, it's a moment which people would remember. Do you agree? Do you agree the moment you got your PhD was maybe the most important academic achievement in your academic career? You are nodding, yeah. I'm assuming the majority will share this view, believe me. It's much more important than, believe me, than becoming a full professor or becoming president of the university. At least for me, I have lived this experience and never changed over the last, 30 years. Now, let me start by looking at maybe the environmental scanning, what's happening around us in terms of changes in the environment, environmental change. There's a lot of issues now associated with the environment and the consumption of energy, which is affecting the way we do our work, the way we lead it, the way we teach our students. The financial markets, we have seen some financial crisis in the Middle East and worldwide, and this has affected the way people invest the resources and use them. They have to be more efficient now. There's a power shift from the west to the east. The power is coming more towards China and India now, and those nations will play a major role in shaping the future of higher education and education worldwide. The demographic change, the percentage of local people to expatriates in the Gulf states, the age issue in the West, people are dealing with research associated with the elderly. In the East, in the Middle East, we are dealing with research associated with the youth. So completely different demographics between the East and the West. Knowledge generation and education, the educational system is changing. People are relying more on knowledge. Knowledge has become an asset. It's maybe much more important than oil and gas. And we have seen in some of the Gulf states with their Vision 2030 and other visions that they want to rely on knowledge, on people more than oil and gas. And this is the right strategy. Economics, oil prices, we know we have all suffered from the drop in oil prices. And technological progress, the way technology is developing so fast, to the extent that we cannot cope maybe sometimes with the technological progress. But this is to our advantage as academics, as faculty members, to take advantage of it, of technologies, and use it for the benefits of our students. And law and order, everybody knows about the political stability across the globe. It's a universal phenomenon. I'm going to start by looking at some products and how much they have changed over the last maybe 30, 40, 50 years, 60 years. If you can guess, please, what do you think? What's this?
Washing machine.
Washing machine. Did you see printer press? Yeah, washing machine. It's interesting that many people thought was printer. Look at the first washing machine and look at our current washing machine. I mean, transformational. What do you think? What's that one? What do you think?
Between a safe
A safe.
or a heater.
A heater. What do you think? Heater. This is the first fridge freezer. This was a fridge freezer. Imagine now our fridge freezer, we have intelligent fridge freezers. You can get a message on your mobile to tell you that you are short of milk or cheese. From the fridge freezer would know that you are running out of milk. So you will get a message. It's an intelligent fridge freezer. So you can see the transformation in some of these products because of the leadership of those people who were in charge of developing maybe fridge freezers or washing machines, and what we have now, innovation and leadership together. What about this one? This was a stove. Imagine. Some of these, maybe, I'm going to show you something next, but some of these could be 100 years, some more than 100 years even, 110 years. Computer, I mean, look at that. This one, what do you think? Mainframe. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows when we used to use punching cards, it takes the whole room, and it takes a few days maybe to do some very basic calculations. Imagine what you can do now on your mobile phone. So there has been a lot of transformation in terms of products. And the top one, yes, what is it? What is it? Well, it's not far. It's a radio. This was a radio, and this one, telegram. This was the first ideas about using telephone, and we can see the transformation in terms of these products and how long does it take for a piece of technology to develop for hundreds of years into something now which is so complicated, so sophisticated. But if you look in the future at some of these products, you will feel our current fridge freezer, our current washing machine is too old. In 20, 30 years, you say, my God, we're using this washing machine or this fridge freezer. So there will always be some changes in products and processes and even people's behavior. Please, if you have not looked at the slides, have a guess of what are these. If you haven't looked at the slides, please, because it's in the handouts. What do you think? It looks like a pump. Okay, what do you think? Water pump. Okay, this is a pressure cooker. At least you were thinking around pressure, and this is how it looked in 1679 when they invented it. Imagine, almost 250 years ago, and even more, 300 and something. So it's been transformational the way it is done now, and this is in 2012. Now, some products for 110 years, like Coca-Cola, they have kept the same brand. And this is the leadership in branding. They didn't want to change that much so people can recognize the brand for 110 years. But look at the boxes, they look completely different now. Look at the television. At some stage in life, if you had a television like this, consider yourself lucky and fortunate. You have a television at home, black and white. And people were very proud to show off that we have a television. And look where we are now, in terms of flat screens and sophisticated curved screens and almost virtual reality televisions. So there have been a lot of changes in terms of leadership in technology, in products, in processes. Look at some of these buildings. This is the Group House in Poland. Somebody came up with an idea that I want a house which is different, and they designed something like this. Imagine, I don't know how functional it is, but it's unbelievable. It's incredible how they thought of it. The Capsule Tower in Japan, the Beijing Stadium, this building in Hanoi, and the great building in London, and the Agora Tower in Taiwan. This is a green building. Once again, the transformation in the design of buildings and products. And you can see, if you look at maybe old Riyadh or Jeddah or Dubai or Manama, and you see the transformation over the last 40, 50 years in terms of infrastructure and buildings, and it looks completely different. Do you know this company? You know, Kodak has gone bankrupt. Imagine a company which has a very strong track record in image processing and photography and the rest could go bankrupt. Why did they go bankrupt? Exactly. They did not predict the digital revolution. They did not assume that one day you don't need to take your film to process it in a shop. You can do it on your machine. You can print the image. They didn't assume that, and they have gone bankrupt after hundreds of years. At some stage, if you want to go and buy a film, you go and say, give me a Kodak film. The company was so dominant, everybody talked about Kodak. Nobody will know any other company except Kodak. And they have gone bankrupt because of the lack of leadership, lack of planning, lack of foresighting, lack of envisioning. They couldn't envision the future. They couldn't see the future is coming this way, and they should hope, they should change. They didn't change. They went bankrupt. Look at some of these technologies now. This is the red phone box in the UK, which is sentimental to many of us who studied in the UK in the 80s and 70s maybe. So if you want to make a phone call, you have to go to the phone box and phone your family in Lebanon or any place. Then suddenly, you have the iPhone and the new technologies, but take my word for this one. In 20, 30 years, the next generation will look back and say, poor guy, they used to use this technology. It will be completely different in 20 or 30 years. It could be chips embedded in bodies, so you can use your hands, finger, hello. You speak to somebody without a device, and it's going to happen, for sure. So this technology will become so much out of date. I remember when I was doing my PhD in the UK, we used to record on a tape messages to our family in Lebanon, and it takes 2 months for somebody going there to give them the tape, and they tape something for you, and you wait for another 2 months maybe to be able to tell them about what you're doing in your PhD And now, within seconds, you can use Viber or Skype or WhatsApp or whatever. But once again, a new type of technology, even for voice, etc., will be completely different. I don't know what is it, it's going to be different. So we have to be prepared for the future. We have to believe in foresight, in future studies, in futurology. Nobody can predict the future for sure, but we should be prepared for it. If something happens, we should be able to at least cope with it, handle it. And the experience of Kodak is the biggest challenge for all of us, to see a company of that success going bankrupt. Nobody predicted it would happen. So we start now with some theories of leadership. We look at some definition first, and then we move to leadership style, leadership types, and the difference between leadership and management. So, you don't lead by pointing and telling people some place to go. You lead by going to that place and making a case. Do you agree? You cannot. If you want to show somebody a nice place, you cannot just tell them about it. You have to go there and take them with you and show them this is a very nice place. You have to lead by example. If you don't lead by example, if I'm a research group leader and I don't publish, I don't write research bits, I don't supervise PhD students, I don't create impact, I have no presence, how can my followers or my colleagues just follow what I'm telling them? They say, why don't you publish yourself first? Tell us how to publish. Generate money, tell us how to generate money. So I cannot just give them instructions, I have to show them the joy of bidding, the joy of writing paper. I have to demonstrate to them my ability. And this is the meaning of that quote. It's just you cannot lead by pointing. You don't just tell them, we have to go there. They don't know how to go there either. You have to show them the way. Now we're going to look at some definitions and quotes and see which one you prefer maybe. This quote, I don't know what leadership is. You can't touch it. You can't feel it. It's not tangible. But I do know this, you recognize it when you see it. How many times I have come across inspirational leaders? Within seconds, you feel leadership is in the environment. It's a nice, supportive culture, very progressive, very innovative. Straight away, you can feel it. You may not be able to touch the leadership or measure it, but you can feel it. It's a recognition. You can almost, it's in the air. There's something different about this university or this company or this organization. The second one, a good leader can't get too far ahead of his followers, which is absolutely true. If you are there, if I'm there, and my followers are here, they cannot just understand what I'm doing here. You have to be going together, pulling together. The key to successful leadership today is influence, not authority. Unfortunately, some maybe stupid people sometimes I feel, when they take power position, they become so authoritarian, they want to practice power more than influence. There's no way you can succeed if you start dictating to people what to do all the time. They don't like it. This is the human nature. But you can convince them. You can say, if you publish papers, you'll become a social professor. But I'm not interested in a social professor. I'm happy being an assistant professor. But if you go and publish, you may go and meet some people in nice conferences, learn more, generate patents, do something exciting for society. There are many ways of convincing somebody, influencing them, convincing them, empowering them. It's not just about authority at all. It's just about influence. Those are the true leaders, are the leaders who can influence their followers, their colleagues, the environment. And leadership is like swimming. It cannot be learned by reading about it. I mean, you can go and buy, there are millions of books about leadership. Thousands. You can go and buy a few books, read about leadership. You'll never become a leader. You have to practice it. It comes from experience, from practice, from living difficulties, from learning from mistakes. It's not just I become a leader because I read a book about leadership. I'm a good leader now because I read 2 books about leadership. It doesn't work this way at all. So please, which code do you prefer? Which one is the most encompassing, maybe the most relevant code for leadership? Which one do you prefer? Please. And why? If you tell me this one is why you prefer it. The microphone, yeah, we're gonna get you the microphone.
It's number 3, the influence people.
Number 3.
Yeah, influence people.
Okay.
So the main point for the leader is how to influence people.
Is how to influence people, not how to be professional. Please. Which one? 3.
Number 3.
The same one. Yeah. Okay. I need the microphone this side down, please.
Yeah, number 3, I think, is more about the manager, because it's talking about like you are influencing someone, so the people will do the things you want them to do. So it's more about manager assigning tasks and assign tasks with the influence with expertise, not with the.
So it's all about influencing.
I think number 3 and number 4 also.
Number 3 and number 4.
You have an experience, you have to go to the pool and then get this experience together.
Absolutely. It's all about experience. It's not about reading about it. It doesn't work. Any more from?
I think the first statement is more relevant.
Which one? The first one?
First, because it is give the overall impression. If the whole institution simply ranked, if the university ranked among top 9 universities, simply there is a very efficient leadership. It is a collective.
Yes. Absolutely. It's all to do with collective leadership.
Yeah, the same thing actually. Number 1, and I look at it not as a result, but as a cause. I mean, you cannot let a leader who is not determined by nature to be a leader.
Wow. Now he's talking about are leaders born or made. I'm going to cover this, the theory of leadership.
Exactly, I noticed that.
Okay.
So also the word of Roosevelt. Roosevelt was an army leader at the time. He was leading the States to exclude people. I think we think they can get too far ahead. This is an army. But does that mean if you have too much knowledge, you cannot lead people limited, like 2, 3, 4, 5 steps below the your knowledge? It can.
Yes.
You can, if you are good leader,
Yes.
you can have the right plan to lead different groups.
Yes. I think it's situational, depending on the situation and the culture. Please.
I think leadership, first of all, it's a gift. Let's agree on this. It's a gift. So then you will be influencing people. If you have the gift, then you know that by working with the people, that you will guide them to work with you. It's not by reading, it's not by giving orders and sitting on the table and you think the people will follow you. You know, when the Sultan Hudaybiyah, peace be upon him, he ordered the follower to shave their heads and slaughter their sheep. They refused to do it. And he went to his tent and he was upset and sad. Salama, peace be upon her, also, so what she said, told him to do, go outside and do these things and you will see what was going to happen. So he went outside and he shaved his head and slaughtered his sheep. And all the companions around him start competing each other to finish what the Prophet did. So by acting and doing, not giving an order. So most people, when they get leader position as the first time, they use number 4 to give an order only. But unfortunately, they fail quickly because they don't have the gift to distinguish between a leadership as a role model who really works with the people around him to guide them to work together. And the people, if they trust you by your acting and working, the people will do everything you want to do. And maybe even more than what when you ask them to do. But if you start just giving an order and sitting on the table and moving the people around and taking them out of their humanity, this is not going to work. And quickly you're going to fail.
Thank you so much. This is very, very helpful analysis, of course. When we look at gifted leaders, we look at the theory of leadership, about whether leaders are born or made. But leading by example, there's no question about it, unless you demonstrate to, the Prophet, as he said, it's just exactly the case. If you want to prove to somebody something, you have to do it. I have to write a research bit to show my colleagues how to write a research bit. I go to you and then say, write a research bit, and I haven't shown you, I haven't written one. How would I be able to judge it? I cannot convince you. So it's all to do with convincing. It's all to do with emotional intelligence, in fact. And you need intelligence, there's no question about it, you need technical competence, but it's all to do with emotional intelligence. How you can convince somebody, how you can cope with their problems, how do you handle them, how do you talk to them. I'm sure people can achieve. So there's an element of gifts for sure, there's no question about it, but you can learn as well through experience. Many thanks.